Now, every British person knows the importance of shouting at your television, especially if it's in a pub, and cheering on your team, because somehow they know, obviously, the thousands of people in the stadium are slightly more immediately significant than yourselves, but they feel it. The love emanating from the crowd for a team or a sports person is just so tangible in their harmonies and their own individual vocal cords. Yes, it's their own need for a collective euphoria as well. You might think it can distract a team, and I'm sure it can. It can certainly distract an individual player. And when there's only one player on the pitch or court or whatever you're calling it, it could all get a little bit more intense. Just like a joke, I'm told, timing is everything. If you want to shout out and be heard, come on my son! You have to do it in an unselfish way, giving, and very occasionally, I think myself personally, when they're just thinking about bouncing the ball to serve, there can often be quite a sort of ad hoc chorus of such enthusiasms. These days, it's just so often that you get, whatever you do, we'll love you type, come on. But just occasionally that fight type cheer makes the difference. I think I did one, you know. I think I did a cheer that made a difference for Gael Monfils when he was playing in it doesn't really matter, ATP 250 tour. But it was clay, and it was Gael Monfils, and he's my favourite player. Now, to say, come on my son, is a bit of a TV commentator got sort of ribbed for it. And it's sort of his name translated. But to say my son in any language, as long as you speak the language a little bit, it translates as it's intended. I did this 2 or 3 times. We were shut out of the tournament to start off with. Not the tournament, the game. You have to book so far in advance for tickets. We didn't know we were going to be able to get there. Gasquet in Estoril was a bit of an excitement. God, does he sweat? That guy really sweats. And you've got to like him for that. But up in the sort of gin lounge, I think it was, which was a little bit strange, there was a burly bouncer that let me slink behind the gin tent. There was enough room for storing, I don't know what they were, pressurised gas bottles or something. And for me and my friend, it was as good as jumping over the fence and getting into Glastonbury. We had like a really pretty good obscured view, I'll confess, of all the favouritism of the Portuguese opponent, offering up touch-and-go opposition for Gael Monfils. 2 or 3 times I had to shout out in French and in English the same phrase. And the burly bouncer liked that I had a bit of passion for the sport, because it can be so... Sorry, I haven't mentioned the sport yet. I was trying to allude to soccer. Tennis can be so stuck up and conservative. There's also part of that. I was a club player once and type attitude, and all club players have engendered in them a little bit of elitism because you've got to pay the fees. But these players have teams. It's someone's role in this team to check out who's doing all the shouting and what their intentions are. Asking for a bit of fight when you turn up to watch your favourite player. If they're feeling a bit apathetic, getting towards their end of their career perhaps, it acts as a bit of a spur in the ribs. But do they necessarily want a spur from a complete stranger in their ribs? And then you get to meet them afterwards. Do they want to turn up if there's someone spurring them in the ribs? So they send someone to check them out. Is he someone famous? Is it that famous British commentator that winds me up a little bit? Just out on holiday? No, the very discreet team representative. They might be checking you out in the crowd to potentially have you chucked out. You don't want to be too much of a smart ass. You don't want to time your comments badly. It's not an attention-seeking exercise from the attention seeker. Yes, every major sportsman wants to be the best at their trade, but there's also a little aspect of that. I want to be loved more. But you'll get checked out if you stand out from the crowd and No, they're just a fan. It's the best that you can hope for. But other than Gael Monfils, the entertainer, the acrobat, there's another guy on the clay tour that you may have heard of that's also stepping down. Rafael Nadal. Yes, he's a Spanish player, but he's won so many times at Roland Garros that he's honorary French, really. If there was still a king or an emperor of France, they'd be courtside watching him as well. They'd be honouring him after the huge popular show of emotion for Rafael Nadal on the bridge in Rome, another clay tournament. Don't be at all surprised to see something more formal in Paris, Le Grand Maître, presenting the French Legion of Honour medal. It seems appropriate. But this whole clay season is just really a lap of honour for Rafael Nadal. But Rafa may be out in the very first round. He's drawn Zverev.
Can I win the French? I think it's like a 99.9% that I want to win, but it's like 100% that I dream about it at 100%. So when it's at zero, you still get a shot. And today it was not easy for me. First match on clay, but I was super happy with quick submission. Normally I'm way slower. I felt like I should run down a little bit, give multi-talented guy like with a lot of confidence, feel like power. So I was happy with the win. I think I can play much better, but winning the win. I think everything, need a bit more time to adapt myself. I met so much on clay, also lately. I think clay was my worst sport now. It's my worst sport. As I say, when you get it home, like a point. Need to continue like that. Those matches give you confidence. How do you feel? You always, j'arrive à pouvoir tenir un peu plus la balle, à peut-être pouvoir faire moins de fautes. Moi, je me rappelle une année où j'ai joué Michael Miller, j'ai fait, je sais pas, 70 fautes directes, je crois, dans le match. Et tout, et là, j'arrive un peu plus à la tenir. Donc, je joue un peu avec la confiance, mais je ne cache pas tes plages horaires, battu. Mais je suis content, je m'en suis sorti. Pendant que je suis sorti, ça a passé,
Thank you.
Oui, chez lui.
Mais en plus, tu faisais comme ça, ça va comme
ouais, pas mal maintenant. Maintenant, ça arrive tout le temps, tu vois.
C'est un peu la même technique que par
Pour moi, il m'a dit que c'est un honneur de jouer. Évidemment, c'est un honneur de jouer contre toi parce que je trouve qu'il va être très fort, ce petit joueur, il va être très fort. Tu vois, j'ai eu ça avec Messi, tu vois, j'avais eu ça avec Frances, tu vois, j'ai de plus en plus ça, et tu vois, c'est plus moi, tu vois, c'est un plaisir de pouvoir me dire que j'ai joué contre lui parce que je pense qu'il va vraiment être super fort, peut-être beaucoup, tu vois, dans ses débuts, tu vois, j'ai joué chez lui dans ses débuts, j'ai eu la chance de gagner, mais j'ai pu jouer. coup, ça fait cool de crossovers de génération.
Marseille est que ça arrive souvent, ça allait devant des Français.
Tu sais que je trouve de plus en plus, et j'en avais parlé depuis d'Australie, je trouve que franchement c'est incroyable. Et je trouve qu'on devrait forcément essayer d'aider un peu plus, d'aider un peu plus pour voir ces fans de télé, hyper respectueux. Et du coup, j'aimerais bien qu'on trouve des solutions pour aider certains fans. Je sais pas, avec un cop ou un truc, ça serait vraiment cool pour moi dans les grands chelems. Tu vois, je pense que tu vois, Roland Garros, c'est fabuleux. Tu vois, non, avec ça, le Sadio, là, je t'entendais, c'était fabuleux. Franchement, c'était fabuleux. En plus, ils ont fait des points de malade, les gars, ils ont gagné. Donc, non, franchement, c'était fabuleux. Je m'en suis fait tout. Donc, non, franchement, ils font un tas de dingue, c'est des passionnés.
Rafa is our OCD disciple. Zverev, master of the tantrum and the racket smash. On occasion, Alexander Zverev lifted the Rome clay trophy. But Nadal continually defies the odds. 14-time champion of the tournament or injury prone? What will play out on the clay? Presently, Nadal is completely unseeded. It's important to point out that Zverev is no Andrei Rublev, who is refreshingly expressive but just comes across as a complete nutcase. Let's say he's really driven but doesn't always achieve all the exalted goals that he sets himself, and so gets disappointed with himself. Rafael Nadal faces a tall order in his opening hurdle, unseeded 14 times winner and reigning champion. On the draw, with Novak Djokovic, they've discovered they won't be facing each other until the semi-final. Less than ideal preparation. Nadal is the name that leaves more players quaking at the prospect of facing him at Roland Garros than any other before him. The Spaniard declared in no uncertain terms that if he took his place at the main draw, he was up to the challenge this fortnight, and we'd leave blood on the court if necessary. Alexander Zverev is fourth seeded, and he's just won his first 1,000 Masters title in 3 years in Rome. They faced each other 2 years ago in a semi-final, which the hard play resulted in a horror ankle injury, which took the German out for the rest of the season. The winner will be having a fairly easy route to Djokovic, but neither of them will be looking that far ahead. Former world number 7, David Goffin, looms as a second-round opponent for Nadal or Zverev, with 26th seed Greek Sport, 13th seed Holger Rune, and 6th seed Medvedev. Did I say easy? They're all big names, none of them are easy. Who is Djokovic playing first round after his appearance in Geneva? Herbert. Both Djokovic and Nadal are not in their top form, but we can't take anything from Las Vegas. 30th seed Musetti, or Gael Monfils could be in the third round. Tommy Paul, 14th seed in the fourth. Casper Ruud, last year's finalist, 7th seed, needs to be beaten to get to the semi-finals. Spain's smiling assassin, though Carlos Alcaraz has not had it all his own way since he felled Djokovic in a classic Wimbledon last year. He's going to be up against Sinner, the Italian. In the Madrid Masters this year, he got to the quarterfinals. At some point on Alcaraz's course through the tournament, though, he will need to beat Ben Shelton, American, the 15th seed, who beat him in Madrid. Much as I'll be cheering on for Rune later on in the tournament, I'm going to be rooting for Dan Evans in the first round pairing. What's possibly going to happen with Andy Murray against Stan the Man Wawrinka? Who can know? Such veterans. And Murray has more than proven his tenacity